Thanks, Jerry. Always a pleasure to present at Vertical Events and be back in the, I suppose, finance capital of Australia, down in Sydney. Unfortunately, the introduction didn't actually talk about this asset that I'm about to focus on. We actually signed the deal yesterday, just in time for this event, and I think it shows how important this event is on the calendar for financing in the mining sector for juniors. So hope you enjoy the presentation. So we have just done a deal. We think we have one of Southeast Asia's premier nickel sulfide districts, and you can see the deal also comes with some significant infrastructure. So we are a battery and precious metals focused exploration company. Our focus until now has been on the BC Cobalt Belt, and we think we've got what could be a world-class belt for cobalt. Unfortunately, the cobalt price has turned against us and has forced us to look at other assets, and that's what brought us to the Toccoa nickel project in Vietnam. Okay, so this mine operated between 2013 and 2016. They mined about 1 million tonnes of very high-grade nickel and copper, so plus 2% nickel and copper, over 3.5 years during a period of falling nickel prices. The previous owners put over $100 million of capital into this asset. They generated revenue over $200 million, and they gave the government $65 million. And so it was a very successful mine through a period of difficult nickel prices. And so that'll be the focus today. We've also got the BC Cobalt project we'll talk about quickly as well. I've only got now 8 minutes, and a bit of time on Silver Swan South. We've also got some gold up in the Pilbara. Okay, so this is the Toccoa Nickel project. We're out 160 kilometres west of Hanoi. LG Chem have just announced a MOU with VinFast, which is a local electric vehicle company, to build batteries in Vietnam near the port of Haiphong. So this is a very strategically positioned asset for the nickel sulfide battery feed into the battery market. Plenty of exploration ground, plenty of exploration targets, over 25 massive sulfide vein targets, and a beautiful 450,000 tonne per annum concentrator ready to go. The problem with the previous owners, they made some money, they gave a lot of money to the government, they forgot to explore. Our geologists are pretty excited to get the drill bit spinning and potentially look at how we could move this asset forward towards a mine. There's a long-term partner, so this is really key part of working in Asia, is having a supportive local partner, and they've been a partner for over 10 years with the asset, so we'll work very closely with that 10% partner. This is an asset that was actually discovered back in the 50s. It wasn't until 1996 where they started modern day exploration. They started building the plant in 2008, and then they stopped because of the GFC. They recommenced in 2012, finished building the mine around 2013, and then operated for 3.5 years. They started with a 5-year mine life. They mined it in 3.5 years, and they didn't explore ahead of themselves. They had to shut the mine at some of the lowest nickel prices in the last 10 years. There's only 381 holes into this whole system. We've got a full belt full of potential here, and most of those holes are into one massive sulfide vein which they mined. This is a rift zone that goes all the way through China and some very large nickel and copper magmatic sulfide deposits. They start pretty much as you hit the border all the way through up to Jinchuan, which is one of the major nickel magmatic sulfide systems in the world. It's very similar geological setting to Norilsk, which is one of the better magmatic sulfide systems in the world. So this is what we get as part of the deal. So there's a great little concentrator there. They got some very good recoveries. So it's good metallurgy, fully permitted tailings facility with excess capacity, established workshops, a modern underground mine. So this is a mine that's been built as if it was in Australia, with jumbos and big trucks and plenty of opportunity to expand. An internationally certified laboratory. So this has been built as if it was in Australia, and it's actually been built by Australians. So that's the plant, ready to turn on whenever we find something worth mining. So this is the nickel price over the last 10 years, and this is what the asset operated at a total operating cost. So you can see that this is the type of ore system that can make money in any nickel price environment. And unfortunate for the previous owners, they got a little bit of good nickel price through here, and then it collapsed, and they had to close it. The reasons they closed it, obviously the nickel price, but also the fact that they just didn't put any money into exploration. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is a dome sort of anticline. We kind of call it the Tarkwa Dome. It's prospective for multiple magmatic nickel sulfide deposits. So the dome is over 40 kilometres long and over 10 kilometres wide. And 25 massive sulfide vein targets to test, as well as disseminated bodies as well. So this is the main area that was mined. So the previous owners focused their efforts on this massive sulfide vein through here. So this is the underground mine. Previous owners didn't really understand, or I suppose explore, for this disseminated system. That's over 1.5 kilometres by 500 metres wide. That was the system that really caught my eye. Being an underground mining engineer, I've done a lot of bulk underground mining. Once I saw these sections, I got pretty excited, because the underground mine sits over here. So they've mined the massive sulfide vein. That's only a few hundred metres across to what is a very large disseminated system. So let's take one of these holes, say 90 metres at 1.1% nickel. So to put that in perspective, 1% nickel is about 3 grams per tonne gold. Obviously there's payabilities and recoveries and stuff, but 90 metres at 3 grams is pretty good. These numbers are coming from surface, about 70 metres from surface. So this is pretty shallow. Hasn't been really understood or drilled properly. So you can see all the previous exploration has really been focused down on that massive sulfide vein. We also believe that there's potential for that vein to extend at depth. So potentially an offset fault or a change in dip direction. We'll also test that. This is exciting. So we think that we could upgrade the con to a nickel sulfate in country. You've got LG in country already. I think we'll see more battery makers enter Vietnam because of the low cost environment. So back to Canada. They're about to go into summer, and it's time to start exploration. This is some of the best geology in the world for copper gold porphyries, and we believe that we've got 48 kilometres of cobalt bearing geology, and we could be sitting on a large copper gold and cobalt porphyry system here. We've got a large IP sulfide anomaly sitting under a copper gold cobalt in soil anomaly. So we'll get to that as well. The focus will be on Vietnam, but over time we'll get back to this. This is a very exciting target that needs a significant capital injection. So Morocco, we've got the same geology as the primary cobalt mine in Morocco, which is the only primary cobalt mine in the world. BMW just did a offtake deal with the owners of this mine for their cobalt for the batteries. So we think we've got 50 kilometres of the same geology as in Morocco. So I'm running out of time. This Silver Swan South asset out of Kalgoorlie, high grades, gold, but also we're looking for nickel sulphide. So we've got some early stage gold and nickel sulphide exploration about 30 kilometres from Kalgoorlie. We'll continue to progress this asset because it's also a battery metal type target as well as gold. So just in summary, we have an international portfolio of battery and precious metals. We've now just acquired the Tarkwa project in Vietnam, modern infrastructure built to Australian standards, never been explored properly, and operated as a modern mechanised underground mine. We'll explore that and understand the potential to build that and operate that mine again. Plenty of cobalt to test over in Canada, but I suppose the other thing is we've got a team that's done all this before. We've been almost every continent now, so we've done Asia, we've done Canada. We've got a proven track record of major discoveries and creating shareholder wealth. Thank you.
Thank you. And just